And the 7th episode of The Penguin is here with us, called Top Hat. Once again, a great episode, even though I have my hesitations with it. The episode starts with a flashback of the childhood of our main character, Oz, and a little insight of his life with his mother and his brothers Benny and Jackie in the 80s. And right away I gotta say that the actor that they chose to be Oz as a little kid gave me some young Corey Feldman vibes. And the flashback shows two very important things about the kid Oz, that he is extremely jealous of his mother, including with his own brothers, and by the difference of appearance that he has with them, I can only guess that he probably is son of another father that is not the same one of Benny and Jackie. This is not confirmed by the episodes, but I got that impression, plus it could explain why he's so jealous of them, demanding all the attention from Francis just for him. Because outside of that explanation, I didn't really understand why he's so jealous and demanding of the attention of his mother, to the point of being very vicious about it, because it looks like she treats them all equally, including having playful moments with all of them. She was never abusive, at least in this scene. Plus, it looks like Frances works for Rex Calabrese, the gangster that the Penguin always mentions in the show, so we finally have his appearance in here, and I gotta say, the actor that they chose for the role is so over the top, and I think they want to drive the point home that Oz really based his persona on Rex Calabrese, so the guy is really over the top with his performance of a real bad gangster of the neighborhood. And I say that Francis works for Rex Calabrese because Jackie, one of the brothers, delivers a book that she was writing for him, and in trade he gives the boy some money. It also increases my suspicions that Rex Calabrese has a connection with Francis because he is the actual father of Oz. We also can suspect of this because the boy has a great devotion for Rex, including trying to get his attention during the conversation, which just like everybody else, Rex Calabrese just ignores the boy. Anyway, after that, Oz and his brothers are going to play flashlight tag. I think this is the game that they are going to play in the tunnels that Penguin is using today for his production of the drug Bliss. So we get to see a little bit of the story that he told Vic in the present. And this is where we get the shocking scene of the episode right away, because the boys hide from him in an underground tunnel of this place, and for the fact that Oz already has a crippled leg, he cannot go down there to find them, so he gets angry because he thinks they did that on purpose. So he just decides to lock them inside this underground tunnel by closing a steel door and leaving them there. He goes back home and a huge storm starts in Gotham, so you already know what's gonna happen, right? The whole underground tunnel gets flooded with water, and yes, both boys drown in there. And all of this is intercut with Oz back in his home with his mother, watching a movie with her, enjoying her attention, cozy, while we hear the screams of the boys trying to leave the tunnel while it's being flooded. Wow, that was very dark. By the way, to dismiss his mother, Oz told her that both of his brothers went to see Beetlejuice in the cinema, so the events of this episode take place in 1988. The year that I was born, by the way. Back in the present, we finally get to see the aftermath of Sofia Gigante kidnapping Oz's mother and hitting Victor in the head with the crowbar that we saw in the last episode. Plus, Salvatore Maroni arrives to get the Penguin in his house, so he tells Vic to find an army with all the gangs that he finally conquered in the last episode while he faces the consequences. So Victor disappears, and we never see him again in this episode. Then Salvatore Maroni takes the Penguin and tortures him to get back for what he did to his family. He also takes Oz to the tunnels where all the production of the Bliss is being done and announces to everyone that he's taking control of the business. But this doesn't last long because one of the employers decides to fight back, So a big shootout starts inside the tunnels, and Oz and Maroni starts a fist fight inside one of the offices in there. It's a good fight, but it ends in a little bit of anticlimax because Maroni actually dies during the fight of a heart attack for having pushing his body so hard. So I guess we will never have Maroni throwing acid on Harvey Dent in this universe. But it also gives us a very comic scene because the Penguin gets very disappointed by that to the point of saying, "Hey, don't die on me! I have to kill you." We must remember, this is a proud guy, so he wished he was the one to kill Maroni and not the old man just dying like that. Meanwhile, with Sofia Gigante, and I love to say this name, Gigante, because we have a scene where she talks with Francis after kidnapping her, and it's a great scene because the woman doesn't hold back against Sofia and provokes her all the time. "Oh, so you are a gigante now, boo-hoo." I loved that. I love that dialogue. And Francis is actually right because she tells Sofia in her face that she's no different from her father just because she changed her name. The drug business will continue the same. The criminal legacy is the same. Then she has one episode of her mental illness, which causes Sofia to be very curious about what's happening. So she asks Dr. Julian Rush to make some sessions with the woman and discover a little more about what she hides from her past. After that, we get another scene which drives the point home even more to Sofia that she's becoming just like her father instead of being her own self when she has to visit the little girl from episode 4, Santani, the girl named Gia, who was the only survivor of the Falcone massacre, because the little girl told the doctors that she saw something that might incriminate Sofia, a gas mask on her purse that night. So when Sofia goes to visit the little girl, she actually gets to see that Gia is actually becoming a little version of herself when she was also put away in Arkham Asylum, including having scratched her own arms for the great stress that she's going through. Then we have a great scene where Sofia hugs the little girl and decides to tell her the truth, that all her family was evil and that they all deserved to die. So in her own devious ways, she's telling the girl, "I'm giving you the opportunity to have a life now, free of all this evil, which I never had the chance to." It's another great scene of the character in the show, but I got a little confused of what this is leading to because we get the impression that something in Sofia is gonna have a turn, or she's going to give up her own evil side. But no, the next scene she discovers that Maroni is dead and actually plans a trap against the Penguin by promising him that she will deliver his mother back to him. The problem is that she sends a car to his tunnels while talking to him on the phone, and we get the impression that, oh my god, she is going to deliver her body to him, just like he did with her brother in the first episode. The Penguin opens the trunk of the car, and it's a beautifully crafted scene in terms of suspense because you actually get on the edge of your seat to know what's gonna happen when the Penguin pulls the cloth that is covering something in the truck. It's so good. And then we have the surprise that it's actually a bomb that's going to explode in 20 seconds. And that's exactly what happens. The Penguin doesn't even let anybody in the hideout know what's happening and just looks for his own protection, jumping on the same underground tunnel that his brothers died in the beginning of the episode and protecting himself from the explosion. A huge explosion that destroys a big chunk of the neighborhood. Then we get to see that Sofia still has Francis with her and is taking her to an old theater in the neighborhood. And I have questions about this scene because apparently Sofia didn't want Oz to die. She actually planned the bomb to have 20 seconds so he could escape from there. But how did she knew that he was going to escape from there with such a huge explosion? I mean, if the idea is to take Francis to the theater so that she can lure the Penguin out of his hideout with no protection, Why the hell such a nuclear bomb? You know, I'm just joking, but this is stuck in my mind when I watched the scene. Oh, and by the way, just so I don't forget, where the hell is Batman in all of this? Anyway, before the actual ending of the episode, we get another scene of a flashback with little Oz taking his mother to dance in a ball. And it's a weird scene because it gives this impression that there is a romantic relationship almost between them. I don't know. And also is a little bit unnecessary in my opinion because they have this dialogue that only reinforces what we have seen during the whole show. That he has a devotion to his mother and she demands of him to give her a big future. And I don't know about this scene because we already know this information about Oz. We don't need another flashback to reinforce it. I don't even know if we needed a flashback of him and his brothers, even though there is that shocking twist, unless this is going to play a role in the final episode. And I believe it is because we have Dr. Julian Rush doing some sessions with Frances, and I believe he is trying to get something from her that Sophia can use against Oz in this final episode and the climax. And this is it. This is the episode Top Hat. A very good episode, even though I have my nitpicks with it. And I admit, they really are nitpicks because this show is awesome anyway. Alright, thank you very much if you watched this video so far. And if you are liking the content of BATGUS, don't forget to leave your beloved like in this video and your amazing subscription in this channel so we can keep talking about Batman and DC Universe in the future, alright? See you in the next Bat video and bye bye.